P&G's strategic position weakens. With revenues of $85 billion and business in over 180 countries, Procter and Gamble is a global leader in consumer goods. Some of its category-defining brands include Ivory Soap, Tide Detergent, Crest Toothpaste, Lamb's Pet Food, and Pampers Diapers. Among its many offerings, P&G has 22 consumer brands in its lineup that each achieve over $1 billion in annual sales. P&G's iconic brands are a result of clearly formulated and effectively implemented business strategy. The company pursues a differentiation strategy and attempts to create higher perceived value for its customers than its competitors by delivering products with unique features and attributes. Creating higher perceived value generally goes along with higher product costs due to greater R&D and promotion expenses. Among other things, successful differentiators, however, are able to command a premium price for their products. Despite its prominent market position, Procter & Gamble experiences barriers based on organizational weaknesses. In this element of the SWOT analysis, internal strategic factors that limit business improvement are identified. These factors create difficulties in implementing Procter & Gamble strategies. For example, the company encounters challenges in enhancing its competitive advantage because of weaknesses in internal processes. One of Procter & Gamble's main weaknesses is the imitable nature of its products. This weakness is typical in the consumer goods market, where products from different companies have considerable similarities. Having imitable products is a weakness because it makes Procter & Gamble susceptible to imitation, which could reduce market share. Limited online presence is another weakness of the company. Retail companies and manufacturers are continuously increasing their online operations. For example, many small and large consumer goods firms are using their respective e-commerce websites to sell products online. However, Procter & Gamble's e-commerce website, the P&G Shop, has limited presence that operates mainly in the United States. This condition limits the benefits that the company gets from the global online market. Thus, improving online presence can enhance Procter & Gamble's marketing mix or purpose, while boosting competitive advantage. The limited degree of diversification refers to the company's operations primarily in the consumer goods industry. This condition makes Procter & Gamble highly dependent on the consumer goods market. As a result, such limited diversification is a weakness that maximizes the company's exposure to market risk. In this element of the SWOT analysis of Procter & Gamble, strategic reform for e-commerce product development and business diversification are emphasized. Business level strategy. How to compete for advantage. Business level strategy details the goal-directed actions managers take in their quest for competitive advantage when competing in a single product market. It may involve a single product or a group of similar products that use the same distribution channel. It concerns the broad questions: how should we compete? To formulate an appropriate business level strategy, managers must answer the who, what, why, and how questions of competition. Who, which customer segments will we serve? What customers' needs, wishes, and desires will we satisfy? Why do we want to satisfy them? How will we satisfy our customers' needs? A business level strategy definition can be summarized as a detailed outline which incorporates a company's policies, goals, and actions with the focus on being how to deliver value to customers while maintaining a competitive advantage. For example, your corporate level strategy was to increase market share. Your business level strategy might be broaden exposure, increase marketing budget, improve quality. To formulate an effective business strategy, managers need to keep in mind that competitive advantage is determined jointly by industry and firm effects. As shown in Exhibit 6.11, route to competitive advantage is shaped by industry effects, while a second route is determined by firm effects. As discussed in Chapter 3, an industry's profit potential can be assessed using the five forces framework plus the availability of complements. Managers need to be certain that the business strategy is aligned with the five forces that shape competition. They can evaluate performance differences among clusters of firms in the same industry by conducting a strategic group analysis. The concepts introduced in Chapter 4 are key in understanding firm effects because they allow us to look inside firms and explain why they differ based on their resources, capabilities, and competencies. It is also important to note that industry and firm effects not independent but rather they are interdependent. As shown by the two-pointed arrow connecting industry effects and firm effects, at the firm level, performance is determined by value and cost positions relative to competitors. This is the firm's strategic position. Although P&G was once the global leader in branded consumer products, recently its value position relative to competitors declined because consumers did not value additional incremental features and reformulations as much as they valued lower prices. Moreover, P&G's relative cost position is weaker due to its higher cost structure, thereby reducing its ability to compete on price. As a consequence, P&G's strategic position weakened and it experienced a competitive disadvantage. Strategic position. We noted that competitive advantage is based on the difference between the perceived value a firm is able to create for consumers, captured by how much consumers are willing to pay for a product or service, and the total cost the firm incurs to create the value. The greater the economic value created, the greater the firm's competitive advantage. To answer the business level strategy question of how to compete, managers have two primary competitive levers at their disposal: value and cost. A firm's business level strategy determines its strategic position, its strategic profile based on value creation and cost in a specific product market. A firm attempts to stake out a valuable and unique position that meets customers' needs, while creating as large a gap as possible between the value the firm's product creates and the cost required to produce it. Higher value tends to require higher cost. To achieve a desired strategic position, managers must make strategic trade-offs choices between a cost or value position. Managers must address the tension between the value creation and the pressure to keep costs in check so as not to erode the firm's economic value creation and profit margin. A business strategy is more likely to lead to a competitive advantage if it allows firms to either perform similar activities differently or perform different activities than their rivals that result in creating more value or offering similar products or services at lower costs. The strategic position is concerned with the impact on strategy of the external environmental, internal resources and competence, and the expectations and influence of stakeholders. It informs the strategic choices that need to be made and subsequently implemented.